Welcome to Something to Talk About from the Bainbridge Island Senior Community Center. We are sponsored by Fieldstone Communities of Bainbridge Island, which offers independent living, assisted living, and memory care up on Rolling Bay. They also have day stay and respite programs. If you'd like to learn more, call 360-594-1010. Schedule a tour of Fieldstone's apartments on Rolling Bay today. Also, we'd like to acknowledge that we are meeting on the ancestral homeland of the Suquamish people who have lived on the water of the Salish Sea since time immemorial. We are grateful for their hospitality. We honor them. And we are grateful for Tressa Johnson, the Adult Services and Research Librarian. I think I've got that right, for Kitsap Regional Library on Bainbridge Island. Thank you, Tressa, for joining us. Today, we're going to talk about catching up on the news.
Yes, thank you so much for having me. There are two things that I'd like to talk about today. One is online newspapers available at the library, and the second is look at what library events are coming up this month. Before I share my screen, I wanted to touch on why one might use our online database. I have three reasons that I personally use it. One is to browse the Seattle Times. I don't have a subscription myself, but I am able to access an image of the current Seattle Times via the library, so I frequently will do that. Another reason I use the collection, sometimes someone might share a news article with me, send it to me via email or text, and I can't access it because I don't have a subscription. I'll write down the title of the article, sometimes the author, and I'll use that information to then go to the library's website in their newspaper collection to see if I can find the article that way and access it for free. The third reason I use this collection is for fact checking. It's a civic survival skill these days. We all know that we are getting our news from trustworthy sources, which is the reason why I do fact checking. I'm pretty sure that my sources are correct, but I know that can't be the case everywhere. One of the steps that I take to confirm that I'm getting accurate information is to check other news sources, to check other sources of information to see if they are reporting on the same topic and what they are reporting on in that topic, especially if I hear something that gets my heart rate up. Then I think, well, this is important. I need to see how other news agencies are reporting this, if they are. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen, and we'll talk about how you can access. Let's see. And here we are. Minimize that. Okay, so we'll start at krl.org. And we don't have to sign into our library account to access the databases. So we're just going to go we're going to go directly to this item on the left that's Browse. And I'm going to click on Browse. Then I'm going to move to the third column, Research and Learn, and scroll down to News. And I'm going to click right there. And here are the databases. I'm going to scroll down slowly so you can see we do have 10 different databases, or 10 different items in this list, I should say. They represent 3 databases. And you may ask why we have so many items in this list with only 3 databases. And that gets back to the question of why would someone use this collection? Why would someone want to access the news here? We try to make it as simple as possible. We know people want to access the Kitsap Sun. So instead of sending them to a link for Newsstream, we actually pull out and say, here's where you get the Kitsap Sun. and I'll scroll down. We pull out, here's where you get the New York Times. You don't go to US Newsstream, you can just click here. The Seattle Times, we just take people directly there. I'm going to scroll back up to the top. Now, there are some things that all these resources have in common. You can print from all of them. So you can print an article or an image from any of the databases. And all of the databases, everything here, you can create a folder and keep a record of the articles that interest you. And I'll go over that when we take a look at one of the databases. They call it by different names, my research, my folder, personal folder, but it's a way that you can keep track of topics or articles that interest you. All of the databases offer full text articles. You can read the entire article, but not for all publications. They all offer articles in text or abstracts in text, like you would see in a Word document. But there are some places where you can actually access an image for some publications. That is how accessing an image of the newspaper is really handy for browsing. I mentioned that I use this resource for accessing the Seattle Times and browsing the Seattle Times. I do that because there's one of our databases we can access an actual image of the paper, and I like that experience. I prefer that experience. Okay, so, and you can see by looking at this list that some of the items in this list have the image and icon of a card right next to it. That means that you do need a library card to access them. If you are in the building of the library, like I am right now, you can click on any of these items and go directly to the resource. If you are at home, when you click on the resource, you'll be prompted to type in your 14-digit library card number. No spaces or dashes, just all 14 numbers. So it's nice to have that handy before you get started. I'm going to scroll down a little bit and go to the Seattle Times. And so here we are. I'm going to click right on the Seattle Times. Okay, now you can see we are in the database. It's called Newsbank. We can search up at the top on the left. You can see there's a horizontal menu. We can place a search. We can do a source list. Now these are all the publications that Newsbank has available to us. And this is a session folder. So this is how Newsbank in particular allows you to create a personal folder so that you can save documents. And I'm going to go ahead and create a personal folder. Yes, I think I am going to do that. I'm going to click here. So first I just ran my mouse over session folder, and then this vertical menu. I'm going to go down to the bottom to create a personal folder. So all you need to do is put in an email address, your first and last name, and create a password. You may want to put that password in your password notebook, which we all have and keep just as safe as we do our wallets, because this is how you will access it again. This is separate from your library account. This is an account specific to Newsbank, and it's just a way for you to keep track of your reading. So I'm going to go ahead and click X in the upper right. So we're not going to actually create a new account. Okay, so I'm going to go to the right.
So
and
can I
scroll.
ask a question about that before we move on?
Yes,
So
please.
when it saves the items in the folder,
Mm-hmm.
is it saving links to particular articles? Is that how that works?
Yes, yes, it is. So, well, let's go ahead and I'll sign into my, I think I have a folder. Let's see if I have a folder. Right, sign in. Oh, and I can't.
Login
Yes,
successful.
Tressa's folder.
Aha.
So saved articles, saved searches, saved alerts. An alert is if there's a specific topic that you're interested in, you can ask the database to send you an indication that that topic has come up. I've never done that, so I'm not sure what the experience is. I have saved articles and saved searches. And let's do that while we're here. We'll save an article. I'm going to scroll down. Thank you for asking, Reed. So you can see there are 4 sources for the Seattle Times 4 times. How do you decide which one you want? Well, I know that I prefer the image. So if we look before we click, we can see we've got dates, location, type, format, and language. So my primary concern when I go to the Seattle Times is that I want to browse the newspaper. So I know that I want an image. And if I follow this row, I can see that they have an image of the Seattle Times starting in 2018 through current day. So let's go ahead and I'm over here on the left now, and I'm going to click on the Seattle Times in that row that includes the image format. I think I clicked there. There we go. Here we go. So I am going to scroll down. View recent issues. So this is wonderful. They give you the current week up here at the top. And then if we scroll down, though, we can see for the year 2023, this year, we can click on any of the highlighted dates and see the newspaper for that day. I just want to click on this arrow. We did read that the images are stored 2018 to the present. And sure enough, those are the years that that open up when we click this arrow. We want 2023. Let's click on today, October 11th. And here it is. I'm going to scroll down just a little bit. Before we click anything, let's look at this horizontal menu on the top. There's a search icon, the magnifying glass. You can get information about the newspaper, citation information. We can email a link. The email would need to, in order to access the link, you would need access to the database. You can clip, actually, I'm not sure if that's a photo. If it's like the snipping tool that Microsoft offers or not, I'm not entirely sure. And here you can print, and you can print any page that's you see highlighted here. In this case, it's the first page of the Seattle Times. You can print that, download it, save to my folder. Link. I really wanted to click save to my folder, but I tried not to. Phew. Share to Google Classroom. I've never used that. Here we can go to other pages. Here's another avenue to turn the page. Zoom in. So when I run my mouse over, this is telling me the plus sign is zoom in. The minus sign is zoom out. Let's see, this will enlarge to the full screen, and I'm guessing that this is view help. Since we're over here on the right, we've got thumbnails of the paper. And here I need to move something out, move my Zoom out of the way. So if I scroll down over here, now you'll see there are two scroll bars. The scroll bar on the far right will move the page that I am on. Just to the left is the scroll bar that is affiliated with the page thumbnails. So I am going to scroll down the page thumbnails to see, and you can see that all of the pages of the newspaper are available. So to turn the page, I would simply go to the thumbnails and click on the page that I wanted to see. Okay. So if I'm not interested in page thumbnails, perhaps I am just going to navigate with the top horizontal menu bar. We can click X. Another option over here to the left of the thumbnails is we can simply close it by clicking on this arrow. Let's do that. There it is. And let's, okay, now that we've looked at what's available on the page, everything that we can do on this page, let's go ahead and save it to our folder. I'm gonna go back to the menu bar and I think, let's see, yep, it's the folder icon. So save to my folder, save article. We're on a page, not an article, but let's see what happens. I'm gonna click save article. The article has been saved to my saved articles. And it looks like when I run my mouse over my saved articles, which is in blue to make it stand out, looks like if I click here, it will take me to that folder. I'm gonna skip that. I want to go up to the top of the page and let's access it from the main access point in the header of the page where it says Tressa's folder and my saved articles. Oh, and there it is. Seattle Times, October 11th, and then the date it was saved.
Excellent.
Yeah, it's really nice. And what do we
I
want
do
to...
have a subscription, but I can't do this. So that's a good reason to use the library if I'm trying to. And the other thing I think is kind of interesting are the alerts. If I had an interest in a particular news topic, especially one that was a little unusual, be a great way to get an alert.
Yeah, you know, I have never done that. Let's take a look at how that is done. I'm going to come down here on the left and it says my saved alerts. Let's see if there's a clue in there. I haven't actually looked in my saved alerts. To add an alert, complete a search, click create alert. Well, that sounds good. Fill out the form with the email address and the delivery frequency desired. And you're done.
That sounds pretty good. So you could have a weekly update on paleontology or something.
That's right. That's exactly right.
Thanks.
Yeah. So I'm going to click on Newsbank. What I'd like to do now is go to the opening page of Newsbank. If you remember when we were on the library website, krl.org, and we navigated to browse, and then we went to the middle column, clicked on news, and we had a list of the news databases that were available. One of the items in that list was Newsbank. So if we click on the icon here from this page, that will take us to the opening page of the Newsbank database. I'm going to click there. And the reason I wanted to show you Newsbank specifically, you can see, first of all, you can see that I am still signed in with my folder. And then I'm going to go to the right side of the screen and scroll down. One of the things I like about this database is you can do a map search, you can do a data search. If you come down here on the right-hand side, there is a column listing different items that you can access from Newsbank: Heritage Hub, Hispanic Life in America, Black Life in America, the Bainbridge Island Review. Now, the Bainbridge Island Review, let's go ahead and click on that one. Click on Bainbridge Island Review.
And then wait for the internet, and there it goes.
Exactly, exactly. So I'm going to scroll down just a bit. Now, you remember when we clicked on the Seattle Times, there was a list of 4 different ways that we could access Seattle Times. And when we looked at that column for format, we had image and text. We didn't get an option here. This has the Bainbridge Island Review for every day, which is interesting since I believe it comes out on Fridays. That suggests that this database includes information that they would post on their website. I don't know if that's accurate, but I'm guessing. Let's go ahead and I'm just going to click, let's click on yesterday. It's October 10th, and we'll see what it tells us. And we'll wait. I can see it's working in the upper left-hand corner where I see this circle going around. So I know it's working. I'm going to scroll down. So it looks like we do have some articles here, but it looks like this is text only. I'm going to click on North Kitsap Recovery Resource Center, set to open on October 26th. And here it is. If we look at the top of the screen, we have a horizontal menu. Again, there are different options that we have. Always a good practice to look at the site, make sure you know what your options are before you start clicking. And I am the first to say that is the most challenging part of using a computer, in my opinion. And if we scroll down, this is interesting. It tells us how many words are in the article, and then you can, this is a screen reader. So if you have low vision or the lighting is not very good wherever you happen to be, you can click this button and the system will read the article for you. It's mechanical. It's not a human being reading the news, but it is a way to get access to the article if the words are difficult to access. So that is the Bainbridge Island Review. Let's see, I'm going to go back to Kitsap Regional Library, and I am going to do that by this address bar at the top of the screen that starts, it has that little lock on it, HTTPS. It's called an address bar, but it also functions as a search tool. What that means is that when I click once, it highlights in blue, and then I can just start typing. Oh, and look at that. You can see what I have been looking at. Kitsap Regional Library right here. I have not been playing online games, by the way, on my work computer, just to have it said. One more time,
I want to make that clear in case your supervisors happen to be watching.
That's right. That's right. Very clear. I just want to take one more look and make sure that we have the pathway in our mind's eye. I'm going to go to Browse. And then to the middle column, to Research and Learn. Down to News, I'll click there. And here we are. Okay. If you have any questions about the databases, if you're looking for something specific, either an article or some information, please feel free to reach out to me. You can do that by calling the library, 451-5050-206, or you can send me an email at tjohnson@krl.org. what I'd like to do right now, are there any questions? I'll ask for questions and then let's look at
Well,
what's
so you
happening.
talked about, maybe you're going to go to this next, but you talked about News Bank as one
Mhm,
of the three databases.
mhm.
And I'm guessing that a second database must be News Stream.
Yes. Mhm.
And
So I'm
then
gonna,
what's the third one?
the third one is, the third one is this historical newspaper resource. And this comes to us through the Washington State Library. And from here, you can get, there are only two, if I remember correctly, there are two categories of newspapers. One is the Kitsap Sun, um, and the other is, and there are a number of historical newspapers from the Spokane area in this database. So it's a great resource if you're looking for information on Spokane. Um, and there are images in this resource as well, which is fabulous. Now, if I come down here to Kitsap Sun, this is the same database. And again, there are images, so you can browse the Kitsap Sun. The caveat is that you can't get today's Kitsap Sun. They're all about a week old. So unlike with the Seattle Times, where you can read the most recent issue, in the Kitsap Sun, if you're a browser the way I am, the paper is a week old. Now, if you're interested in the articles themselves and not the paper, you can go to this other database just above where we link it simply to Kitsap Sun, and that's a news stream that we haven't looked at, but it is text only, no images. Does that answer your question?
Yes, it does. Thank you.
Okay, great. I'm going to scroll up, and I encourage folks to explore. And again, if you have any questions, let me know. Let's take a quick look at what's happening at the library this month. I'm going to go to classes and events right up at the top. And let's go to adults. I click there. And then over on the left-hand side, I am going to, so my next talk is, I think, the 8th. So I'm going to click on November 8th. Let's look at Bainbridge Island events and online events. So you can see we've got film night tonight. We've got an event next Monday, Housing Decommodified. Social Security 101. This is a Zoom event. I'm going to be there. My colleague in Paulsbo has arranged for Washington Public Affairs Representative Kirk Larson to provide this presentation. I'm really curious about it. We're going to be discussing braiding sweetgrass on Tuesday evening. Museum at the library, the walk-in Medicare clinic. This is, I believe, so if you have questions, personal questions, you can come in, drop in at any time between 12:30 and 3:30 and talk to a SHIBA volunteer. And I believe it's the same program that will take place at the Senior Community Center on November 6th. Is that right?
I will check while we're on the call and let you know,
Okay.
but yes,
Well,
we're
I
doing,
think, and I'm going to click on walk-in Medicare clinic because I think I might have included it in the description. Let's scroll down. Here it is. A second walk-in clinic will be offered at the Bainbridge Island Senior Community Center on Friday, November 3rd,
thank you.
between 11 a.m. and 2 p.m. Yeah. And then I'm going to go up to the left and click on this back arrow. We've got genealogy, pay less for your energy. This is a Puget Sound Energy discount program that's brand new at the beginning, from the beginning of this month. You can learn about the program, but also I'm really excited. They're providing one-on-one support for signing up on the computer. So if you don't have a computer or device, if you're not confident on a computer, you can drop in anytime. You'll see just underneath, we've got short presentation at 4:30, but then from 5 to 7, the representative is going to be there to sit down next to folks and walk through the online process. So they're really trying to make it as easy as possible.
And if that date doesn't work for you, call us, because I know we're arranging with PSE to have a daytime date here at the center for this same excellent program.
Perfect. Oh, that's great. When I find out when it is, then I will include it also in my description. I think it's my understanding is that they're really trying to arrange times, different times throughout the week, throughout the day, to really reach everyone and accommodate people's schedules. So great. We have a sew-in on October 28th, bring your sewing machine. So that is what's happening at the library next month. Scroll up to the top, and I think that's it.
Well, thank you very much. Very useful. And it's nice to know that there's more than one way to keep up on the news. The library coming to the rescue. Of course, many of us over the years went to the library to look at current and past issues, and having that all online is great.
Yeah, it really it's a wonderful tool. We have paper newspapers also at the library, but this is a fabulous tool for all, as I've said, all kinds of reasons. So, thank you.
Thank you, and I look forward to seeing you again next month.
I look forward to seeing you too. Thanks.